That's what it was. That's what it was. Y'all, when I tried to put up the title, it wouldn't let nobody comment. It would not let nobody comment. That is crazy. Yeah, I guess they don't want us explaining this one, right? But let me delete the previous one we have here, and then we're gonna get it. All right, so now I can see y'all comments. Let me turn this down here. All right, we'll let a few of y'all get in here. How's y'all Mother's Day today? I hope y'all called your moms and you know celebrated your wives and your girlfriends, whoever have children for you, fellas. Some people say their Mother's Day was boring, relaxing. Well, hey, at least you're alive. That's one thing that we can say. At least you are alive. That is a beautiful thing in this day and time. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They would not allow the comments up there when I put in the whole thing. It was crazy. Now I'm reporting something that what I'm about to read to you guys is public record from the U.S. Congress on Congress.gov. I'm not bringing up nothing fake. It's literally right there. Everything I'm going to read is for the public consumption with the U.S. government. I'm just trying to bring knowledge to people that's going to probably be affected. Okay? And I wanted to do this. I didn't have time to get in the studio and do certain things today. So I said, well, let me just do a little live. And, I don't do live streams too often. Yeah, it was the title. It was the title. No, it wasn't flagged. They just shut down the comments. They wouldn't let you comment. Or let y'all comment. The video was live, but they just wouldn't let nobody comment. That's crazy. That is utterly crazy. It lets you know. It lets you know, right? So I'm thinking, just letting a few of you guys get in here, and we're gonna talk about it. We are going to talk about something that's public record. I got all my links set up here on my tablet here. We're gonna talk about the guy who, the main person that's on the bill, his history, which his history is actually, I was shocked at what he's doing today versus how he started off. Very, very shocked. Mr. Bobby Rush. Okay, so we'll give you guys maybe another few more, maybe about another minute or two, and then we'll get at it. We'll let people populate in. DeMarcus, thank you for joining us, DeMarcus. Let's see here. Thank you for joining us. He'll say, listen, guys, anything that you guys help us with, joining YouTube channel memberships, joining our Patreon page, it helps support the show. The more support you give, the more we can bring people in to help us do more. It said, thank you, John L. It took your mom to the gun range. That's a blessing. Definitely got to go to practice your Second Amendment rights. For sure. Got to do that because nobody's going to protect you, right? But anything you guys do to help is greatly appreciated. Like I said, we are bringing people in to help edit. That's why we're starting to cut out more content, but I have to pay editors. We're making a deal with a graphic designer, got to pay them, and it's all people within the community, so anything you guys give, it helps. Trust me, media is warfare. And the reason why the white media companies spend so much money is because they understand the more you can get the content out, the better you are on the battlefield. You understand? So they know this. That's why media costs a lot of money, and they spend a lot of money to do so. So we're not going to get the grants from the federal government like they'll get or anything else. So the people is going to have to support all forms of black media, okay? Because this is more so in your interest. Now, of course, other people listen. That's fine. I don't care who listens, but this is in your interest. So thank you guys for supporting. Thank you for everyone that's becoming a member. Now, the difference is on Patreon, I post every video before it comes out. On Patreon memberships, I post each channel's video before it comes out. We got a new thing going on our website, AfricanDiasporaNews.org. So I'm about to start posting all this content that you guys asked me to do, but I don't post because I know it'll get taken down on this site. Listen, they rules, they cite. You can't say nothing. That's why you have to have your own. All right, so let's get it. So let me pull up my things here on my little screens. So a lot of people, and I want to talk to you guys now. This comes from Congress.gov. This is plainly on the website. And on Congress.gov, and we'll put the links up. They have it. And when you see me looking this way, I'm looking at my tablet, so you'll know exactly what I'm looking for. Kim Shepperson Jones, thank you for the Cash App. It's called HR 6666, COVID-19 Testing, Reaching, and Contacting Everyone, Trace Act, okay? Now, the sponsor of this is Bobby Rush out of Illinois, a Democrat, okay? Now, we looked at the people who's co-sponsoring this bill. It is 44 Democrats and 1 Republican. The only Republican is out of New Jersey, okay? So let's talk about Bobby Rush a little bit. Let's get a little history on him before we get started. So Bobby Rush, a black man, was born in November 23rd, 1946. He is, of course, a politician. They call him an activist. He's a Rev as well, and he is a U.S. representative for Illinois' 1st Congressional District, okay? So he served more than 2 decades. He was a civil rights activist in the 1960s. And Bobby Rush, the guy that co-sponsored this bill, actually co-founded the Illinois chapter of the Black Panthers. Yes, this brother was putting in work. So they say he was elected to Congress in 1992, but got in office in 1993. And he has won consecutive re-elections. He said his district was originally located principally on the south side of Chicago, with a population from 2003 to early 2013 that was 65% African American, a higher proportion than any other congressional district in the nation. Now, in 2011, the Illinois General Assembly redistricted this area. Following the 2010 census, still a black majority since 2013 is 51.3% African American, 9.8% Latino, and 2% Asian. He was reelected in 2016. He's a member of the Democrat Party. He's the only politician to have defeated Barack Obama in an election, which he did in 2000. Democratic Party for Illinois' 1st Congressional District, okay? So now, you say his parents separated. We're going to give you a little history of this brother. His parents separated when he was 7 years old, and his mother took him and his siblings to Chicago, joining the Great Migration of African Americans out of the South in the first part of the 20th century. Now, if you know about the Great Migration, we was dealing with the white supremacists, big time, okay? So a lot of black people, dealing with the Klan and the police and this, dealing with it heavy, if you know about our history. So a lot of black people left the South and they went to California. They went to Chicago. I mean, that's when black people start spreading out all over the place because our main hub was the South. So when you hear people make them silly terms about, well, why y'all want to run to Africa and run? Well, you know what? Well, if they based on your mindset, they ran out of the South too, because they went somewhere else outside of their quote unquote homeland, right? But anybody with sense would know to leave an area that's not good, especially when you have children. Listen, you want to fight to the death, that's your business. But when you have children, you think a little different, okay? So they said that he dropped out of high school in 1963, right before graduating, but he joined the Army. He said he was stationed in Chicago in 1966. Now, the brother joined the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, which helped obtain civil rights legislation passed in 64 and 65. But in 68, he said he went AWOL from the Army and then co-founded the Illinois chapter of the Black Panthers. He later finished his service, received an honorable discharge from the military. Now, throughout the 60s, he was, like I said, he was involved in the civil rights movement. He worked in civil disobedience campaigns in the United States. He said when he co-founded the Panthers in 68, he served as this defense minister, okay? And they said that after Fred Hampton was killed in that police raid, he said Bobby Rush said this, and I quote, "We needed to arm ourselves." This is Bobby Rush, the guy that wrote this bill, that sponsored this bill. And he referred to the police as pigs. He said earlier that year, Rush had discussed the philosophy of his membership of the Black Panthers, saying black people have been on the defensive all these years. He said the trend now is not to wait to be attacked. He said we advocate offensive violence against the power structure. This is Bobby Rush. This is his history that I'm reading it, okay? He said, and after Fred Hampton's death, he became the acting chairman of the Illinois Black Panther Party. Okay? So they were saying that he also worked on other projects that built support for the Black Panthers and the African American communities, such as coordinating a medical clinic which offered sickle cell anemia testing on an unprecedented scale. Okay? Where sickle cell anemia affects a lot of black people. They say Rush also went to jail for 6 months in 1972 on a weapons charge after carrying a pistol into the police station. Okay? Well, it don't matter if he wrote the bill or not. You don't let nobody put your name on it. So I got to put your name. If you're the first person there and you're the dummy, and this guy is not a dummy because he has education. He's not stupid. He says that when he, in 1974, he left the Black Panthers, who were already in decline. He said, we started glorifying thuggery and drugs. What he told People magazine, okay? So that's when he already started to dabbling in with them folks. And then he became a born-again Christian. They say, uh-oh. They say, white Jesus. There you go. He said that he didn't repudiate anything in his involvement in the Panther Party. He said it was just part of his maturing. So let's get to Chicago politics. Now, he's been educated. He has a Bachelor of General Studies from Roosevelt University. His master's degree is in political science from the University of Illinois at Chicago. And he completed his degree of theological studies at McCormick Theological Seminary in 1978. Now, in 1974, he ran for a seat in Chicago, and he was defeated. Now, Rush's allies in the Black Power movement at that time period abandoned the Democrats. I wonder why. In the wake of political turmoil that followed the sudden death in 1987 of Chicago's first black mayor, Harold Washington, and formed their own political party, naming it after the late mayor. So Rush infuriated the Harold Washington Party members by spurning their candidates for local offices and occasion backing white Democrats instead. As he Rush worked with the regular Democrats and was rewarded with the deputy chairmanship of the state party. You understand? So we just explaining like what happened to him, how you go from telling black people to defend themselves to doing all that. Okay. So he ran for mayor in 1999, but he lost to Richard Daley. And of course, you know where he's at today. So we just want to give a little background of Mr. Bobby Rush. So let's go ahead on and just read through this. We're going to look at certain language. Okay. We're going to look at it. So HR 6666, very interesting number, isn't it? Now it says to authorize the Secretary of Health and Human Services to award grants eligible entities to conduct diagnostic testing for COVID-19 and related activities such as contact tracing through mobile health units as necessary at individuals' residences and for other purposes. So basically they're saying that they can go to your house and test you for the coronavirus. This is what it's saying. I mean, I'm looking dead at it. Now, if people feel they have some symptoms, I'm pretty sure they can go to a testing center. I'm pretty sure they can go to the hospital or wherever they feel they need to go. Why do you need to go to people's house? If you want to come to my house, bring me a reparations check. You come to my house. Because you don't need to come to my house for no reason. Because I didn't ask you to come over there. I don't need you. I know where the hospital's at. I know where everything at. I know where my doctor's at. I know everybody. Okay? Now, I'm reading how it says. It says a bill to authorize the Secretary of Health and Human Services to award grants to eligible entities and conduct diagnostic testing of COVID-19. And we read that already. It says now, number 1, section 1, short title. This act may be cited as COVID-19 testing, reaching, and contacting everyone. Trace Act. Section 2. It says COVID-19 testing and contact tracing using mobile health units. So section A. In general, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, acting through the Director of the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, may award grants to eligible entities to conduct diagnostic testing for COVID-19 to trace and monitor the contacts of infected individuals and to support the quarantine of such contacts through. Okay. To me, this is, if we go through this is worse than the Patriot Act. You think they spy on you now? They literally want to have contact with you, know every person you talk to, everywhere you was at. Look, even Patriot Act, even that deep. This is way deeper than the Patriot Act. I'm telling you. And they use events. Now, what Rahm Emanuel said a long time ago, don't let a tragedy or event like this go to waste. He said that. And this is what, and notice every time, well, when it comes to these states, look at the states. It's the Democrats that I'm noticing that don't want people to have certain rights. I mean, what is it with them and being authoritarian? You get what I'm saying? So, number one, mobile health units and, as necessary, testing individuals and providing individuals with services related to testing and quarantine at their residences. Okay. So, B, permissible use of funds. A grant recipient under this section may use the grant funds in the support of the activities described in subsection A to hire, train, compensate, and pay the expenses of individuals and to purchase personal protective equipment and other supplies. Okay, so you want to hire people for this. Okay. C, priority. In selecting grant recipients under this section, the secretary shall give priority to 1. Applicants proposing to conduct activities funded under this section in hotspots and medically underserved communities. What does that mean to you, medically underserved communities? And we're going to actually read what it means, because I got it verbatim what the government says what medically underserved communities mean. But what does that mean to you? Medically underserved communities. What community do you know don't have enough doctors, don't have adequate health care? What does that mean to you? You tell me. What does that mean to you? It says, and now this isn't law. This isn't law, but this is a bill, okay? But we need to be knowing exactly what bills that the Democrats in Congress are presenting. And I say Democrats because they control it. It says, and applicants that agree in hiring individuals to carry out activities funded under this section to hire residents of that area. So they want to hire people in your area or community where the activities will occur with higher priority among applicants described in this paragraph, given based on the percentage of individuals to be hired from such area or community. So basically, you want to hire people in the area. People don't have jobs. I can see people taking that, but they don't have a job. Now, we'll go through. No, it gets worse as we read this, okay? So they say distribution. Let's say in selecting grant recipients under this section, the secretary shall ensure the grants are distributed across. Here we go. I told you guys, learn these words. Distributed across urban and rural community areas. The first thing they said was urban. Now, who's described as urban in America? Who's described as urban? You guys tell me. What group of people are described as urban in America? Oh, there you go. Some people get it. Some people get it. Okay. Yeah, some people say it. Black people. Exactly. Okay. So distributed across black, and when they say rural areas, that's usually talking about poor whites in the rural areas. That's usually because they don't put us in rural. They always call us urban, inner city, whatever. There's certain language they use to describe blacks and even them, right? So C, federal privacy requirement. Nothing in this section shall be construed to supersede any federal privacy or confidentiality requirement, including regulations promulgated under Section 264C of the Health Insurance Probability and Accountability Act of 1996. And also it gives off all the statutes or whatever. Okay. Definitions in this section. They tell you what the definitions mean. The term eligible entity means a federally qualified health center. Okay. As defined in Section 1861AA of the Social Security Act. A school-based health clinic. Okay. So if they pass this, they can say, well, in order for your child to be eligible to go to this particular school, they need to be tested underneath this bill. And since we can test here because we are a school-based health clinic, I'm just reading it. I'm reading it. Number C, a disproportionate share hospital as defined underneath the applicable state plan under Title the 9 of the Social Security Act. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Title 19. I'm sorry. Pursuant to Section 1923A1A of such act. D, an academic medical center. An academic medical center. It could be like your colleges. You know, a lot of times your colleges have medical centers. What if they say, well, a requirement is in order for you to become a student here, you have to, be tested. A nonprofit organization, including any such faith-based organization. F, an institution of higher education, as defined in Section 101 of the Higher Education Act of 1965. A high school, as defined in Section 8101 of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. Any other type of entity that it is determined by the Secretary to be eligible entity for purposes of this section. So they line them out. Then they say anybody else that we deem, is an eligible entity. You understand? I'm only reading what the government has put out. And we will get to the part that really kind of disturbed me. So number 2. The term emergency period has a meaning given to that term in Section 1135G1B of the Social Security Act. 3. The term hotspot means a geographic area where the rate of infection with the virus that caused COVID-19 exceeds the national average. Okay? Now we know they have, remember that video I put up the other day about when they said in Georgia, 80% of the hospitalizations of people are African American. But then we found out that's only based on 305 people in 7 hospitals in the Atlanta area. And anybody been in Atlanta know Atlanta has a majority black population. But they doing all of this. Yes, we're going to get to foster kids too. We doing all of this. And notice how the propaganda was ahead of this. You understand? Okay. Now, the term medically underserved community has the meaning that's given to the term in Section 799B of the Public Health Service Act. Now, I'm going to go to that. And I'm going to read you what medically underserved, community means. So I'm there. And I want to make sure. So I'll read this so you guys can hear what medically underserved community means. Okay? So that section says on that act that you're talking about, the term medically underserved community means an urban, black, or rural area or population that is eligible for designation under Section 254E of this title as a health professional shortage area. Okay. Health professional shortage area. We already got that black terminology in there. Not saying black. Is eligible to be served by a migrant health center under Section 254B of this title, a community health center under Section 254C of this title. So they will actually probably do immigrants as well that they got. A guarantee under Section 254B of this title relating to homeless individuals. Okay, so that means that they can do this to homeless individuals as well. This is what's considered medically underserved community. See, they didn't say, oh, we're going to go to this people, that people, that people. Now, this is the one that's really going to get y'all. Or a guarantee under Section 256A2 of this title relating to, wait for it, residents of public housing. I'm going to repeat that again so you guys can get it. Or a guarantee under Section 256A2 of this title relating to residents of public housing. So if you're in public housing, you're considered a medically underserved community. Now do you understand why you saw the National Guard in public housing? This is, once again, it's a bill. It hasn't been voted on. It hasn't been, it haven't went to the Senate. I don't see Mitch McConnell even allowing this and go on personally. But this is more so Democrat-sponsored bill, okay? Suppose they are Democrat friends. Section C of that, which defines medically underserved community, has a shortage of personal health services as determined under the criteria of the Secretary under Section 1395XAA2 of this title relating to rural health clinics. Okay? Is designed by a state governor in consultation with the medical community as the shortage area of medically underserved community. So the governor could say, well, that area over there, they medically underserved. So make sure you get that area too. I'm just letting you guys know. I'm just being the information guy. I'm doing my part. Read the bills, folks. Read the bills. So you understand what medically underserved community means. Black folks, those of you who are in public housing, okay? They determine the hotspots based on what they want to. It's one of them, like, and I shout out to Tariq, he's coined that. It said, I'm white and I say so. If I say it's a hotspot, it's a hotspot. Even though data could say something is not a hotspot, remember, we know who the true face of coronavirus was. They lied, and now they're saying we're the face of coronavirus. There's no empirical data to back any of that up. I'm reading the data all the time of coronavirus. I'm looking at it. I don't want to quote on, that's why I don't go on conspiracy. I don't go anything. I want data. I want numbers. I want research. Okay. Now it says the term secretary means Secretary of Health and Human Services. It said G, authorization appropriations. To carry out this section, they are authorized to be appropriated $100 billion for fiscal year 2020, and such sums may be necessary for each of the fiscal year 2021 and any subsequent fiscal year during which emergency period continues. So where's this $100 billion coming from? Where's it coming from? Y'all just cutting checks. Y'all trying to cut checks all over the place. Where's it coming from? What I'm trying to say is this. And I know the country I live in, okay? Democrats, that's not going to work well for you. You're not going to be coming to people's house and testing people, okay? People not going to allow it. People have the right to go to a medical facility if they need to or not. Now, you could say, hey, look, quarantine yourself. Listen, we already been quarantining. What you think stay-at-home orders are? People lost jobs. Companies are filing Chapter 11. Now you still want to go mess with people after they're staying at their homes? Seriously? And you think that, well, let me go mess with the black community? And then let's talk about this testing. Who are the tests coming from? Didn't the president of Tanzania just found out that the test was saying goats and papayas was positive? And there were reports right in this country right here that they had contaminated tests. You think they're going to bring the best of the best tests to black folk? All of a sudden, now you want to test black people? All of a sudden? But you ain't been testing this before? Man, don't y'all, I'm telling you what, listen, you have a right for medical treatment or not. I will never tell nobody not to get medical treatment. If you're not feeling well, go see your doctor. Go to the hospital, whatever. But you making that choice, not them showing up at your door. Hey, man, how you doing? I mean, I could test you and all your family today for coronavirus and make sure you don't have it. But see, these people pull stunts where, hey, Lakeisha, I don't want to have to get rid of your housing. But I mean, if you don't take the test, then, you may have to lose that. And you guys gonna be on the streets. You guys gonna be homeless. Because remember, it said medically underserved community. They said public housing. So you could be a person who lives in public housing. You work out 2 or 3 times a day. You could not eat fried food. You could be the picture of health. Just because you live in public housing don't mean you can't be healthy, right? And they won't still show up because you're medically underserved because you live in public housing. Like, that's basically what it is not only racial but class warfare, because they say rural areas, and when they say rural, they mean poor white folks. So you're going to go to homeless people on the street. You're going to go to black folks for sure. And you're going to go to poor white folks in rural areas and just want to test them. So we forgot people like Tom Hanks and his wife. You forgot about them? They had coronavirus. Well, what about that? The CNN anchor Chris Cuomo, he had coronavirus. He isn't in an urban area, a rural area. They don't live in public housing. What about the other CNN anchor? What's her name? Um, oh Lord, that Brooke Baldwin. She had coronavirus. Are you gonna go test them? See what you gonna do? Come to Houston and pass over people in River Oaks and go to Fifth Ward? I mean, to me, you using poor people or trying to use poor people for whatever nefarious reason. Because you're not saying everybody. You say test everyone, but everyone means poor people. That's what it says. Clearly, it's meaning poor people. And definitely black folks. Y'all need to call your Congress people, your and everything and say, hey, look, I don't like this bill. This bill is discriminatory. You're not testing everyone. You're not testing everyone of every background. You're only targeting people who is quote unquote poor or homeless or in public housing. That's not tracing everyone. And let me tell you something. You think you'll go to rural areas and do it, they're going to have something for you too. You already know how white folks get down, even the poor ones. They going to call y'all. They don't want no liberals out here. All of them Republican. And most of them got their tool with them. So you go to white folks' house with that if you want to. We already know how they get down. Or who say black people don't have health insurance? Why you assume black people don't have health insurance? No, the thing is, you need to know what's going on, and you need to call Bobby Rush. You need to call your people and let them know, hey, Bobby Rush, that bill is very discriminatory. Like I said, listen, I'm an American citizen. I have a right to go get tested or not. I know the testing centers are at. I said, all of a sudden, y'all didn't care about us. Why all of a sudden now? I said, I don't trust y'all with y'all history. Y'all did a Tuskegee experiment on us for how many years? Y'all didn't do it to nobody else. These people, man, like I said, but I'm just trying to give you guys the information. I'm trying to do that as much as possible. Like I said, every day, these people do something more and more and more. That is sad what I'm about to say. They doing more and more things to say, man, y'all even making the Republicans look better than y'all. That's sad when I'm saying that. And for the people who will come in the room being extra, who don't have a lot of brain cells clicking, I have no affiliation with nobody's political party whatsoever. Nobody's cutting me a check. Nobody. Look, I got black folks. Let me tell you about that. I got black folks that say, I would like to work with Phil, but I want to do things in the black community, but I don't want to say black. Like he says black a lot. Well, you can't work with around me if you don't want to say black. I don't do people of color. I don't do minorities. I don't do anything. Black, African American, African, Afro Latino. I say black over here. Period. And if you're not telling me nothing black, because I need to know what's going to be in it for me, at least when it comes to our community, right? So with this being said, ladies and gentlemen, is call Bobby Rush. I'm gonna put the link in that description box when we're done, and that way you guys can go read it yourself. You can look at all of this yourself, okay? And I want you guys to tell them, well, Bobby Rush, you be the first person. I want to see you on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. I want to see you taking a coronavirus test. Matter of fact, I want to see Nancy Pelosi. I want to see all y'all Democrats taking the test on live stream. I want to see all you do it first. And you let me tell me what your coronavirus is. As a matter of fact, you're at risk. Nancy Pelosi at risk. The majority of you up there in Congress is at risk anyway. Why aren't you being tested? I want to see you take the test. Since you want to put out the test on people who not even showing symptoms or signs. Just because a person is poor, that you deserve to go target them? And they didn't ask you for this? With all these, what about in New York? All these people in New York dying, you think they are poor people? I just done a story about a doctor that came from New York to California to a high-end facility for dementia patients where you got to pay $15,000 a month. And he brought the coronavirus from New York to over there, and the sister and 63 other people, well, the sister that died, 8 other people died along with her, and 63 people was infected by this guy. And this guy comes from money. Bobby Rush, why you ain't testing these rich white folks? You're not trying to test them. They the one that went into Europe, and they go to China, and they go all kind of places most black Americans don't go. And then the black Americans that went to Africa, they didn't have no problems. Because Africa still don't have the issue like they have here. So this is why when you hear me saying, man, those Democrats, this and that and the third, the reason why I'm saying is because I'm looking at what they're doing. I'm reading what they're putting on paper, what they're trying to do. And it's like the Democrats want to be freaking authoritarian. They don't want people to have their freaking rights. Especially they don't want black people to have rights. Oh, these Republicans and they racist. Listen, I told y'all, I'd rather deal with the wolf all day. I can see the wolf coming. I say, but them Democrats is a sly fox. And I don't like a sly fox. I don't like somebody telling me I'm your friend and using other black people, you know what I'm saying, who sold out and try to come to the black community and lead us down the path of destruction. Let me tell you something. The black American politicians and African politicians are exactly the same. I see some of y'all talking about the African politicians. These politicians are, listen, black politicians for the most part, whether you in Africa or America, are the same. The difference with the African politician versus the black politicians here, they sell out to these folks. The African ones who are corrupt, you know, basically selling out for themselves to get money. They're making dirty deals with the Chinese or making dirty deals against the people with the UK or anybody in the West, right? But at the end of the day, we have a big sellout problem. And how is it that Bobby Rush, if it all goes down, they're going to say him. They're going to put his face out there. He's the one. If they have a mass infection or something happen, they say, oh, Bobby Rush did that. That wasn't us. And the Democrats, that was him. Like how silly are you, Bobby Rush? Seriously. This is why I told y'all. Y'all that they want to hunker down in America, and that's fine. Do that. Y'all got to get the Bobby Rushes out of there. You got to get the Jim Clyburns out of there. You got to get all of the John Lewises and all them out of office. I'm telling y'all, man. These people will sell us down the river like this, man. And somebody said, listen, how many times have I said that? I can't stand people who keep repeating that. They just two wings of the same bird. I've said that I don't know how many times. I've said it. I know that. That's why I'm not part of nobody's party. I'm only for what we can get out of them. And Barack Obama don't like that kind of talk, and I got a video coming about Mr. Obama. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is this. Keep your eyes open during this time period. Stay vigilant. Keep your ears open. You know, use your phone for more than looking at videos of people doing TikTok. I know TikTok is funny. I know people participate. I've even done a few TikToks here and there. But let's just get educated a little bit. Just in what we're doing. And listen, we can do multiple things, ladies and gentlemen. We can be entertained. We can have fun, and then we can also get down to business, okay? And we need to do both. It's not to say that just because you do entertainment, you can't be serious. That's a lie. Because most people do entertainment are serious about their business. That's how they stay making money in that. I'm telling you is, you need to make some calls. You know, I know you said that Brother RZA said a petition. That's fine, but you need to make some calls. You need to call Bobby Rush's office, okay? You need to call him and tell him, hey, I looked at that bill. What are you doing? I said, man, you need to take this bill off of here, man. We don't need this right now. Take that $100 billion and why don't you, you want to do anything for underserved communities? Why don't you send some checks to those underserved communities? How about that? That's what you can do because everything is economic. Everything, all our problems are economic. Okay, we don't get medical care. You know why? We don't have the money. So Bobby Rush, take that $100 million and send it to all those communities that you're talking about. Okay, homeless people, they need some money so they can get off the streets. Send them that money. Okay, send it to them. Affordable housing. Well, all that goes back to economics. It's money. We need money. Don't let no politician approach you and not giving you money for your issue and your problem. Okay, money is the thing. Everything, all our problems will be solved by money. Don't ever let nobody come to you and know, well, we need to have this program. At the end of the day, we need some money. Give me money. Bobby Rush, we need $100 billion in the black community so we can take care of our health. So we can get pre-existing conditions looked at and taken care of. So we can get some better housing. Okay, we need money, Bobby Rush. That's what we need. We don't need all that mess. We need money. And he was careful not to say we're gonna do this to everybody. They carefully did not say it, not that they wasn't gonna do that. That's what pisses me off. So you can have COVID-19 running rampant in a middle class community and a community where people making a lot of money. It can run rampant in those communities. You're not going to test them, but those poor people who have no defense, who can't get lawyers to defend them because you're violating their rights, you're going to go do that to them. It's not just Bobby. It's 44. It's 43 other Democrats on that co-signed that bill too, and the one Republican from New Jersey. Now, once again, it's a bill. It's not. It has been voted on. It hasn't like say, okay, it passed the Congress. Now it's gonna go to Senate. No, I'm just letting you know. But it's good to get at it at the bill stage because you guys know when you raise your voice, politicians move. They move. You know that. World leaders move when you raise your voice in unison. And Bobby Rush and all of you guys who are making videos, you need to look at that bill yourself, go through it for your audience, let your audience know, and contact your Democrat people that's around you and say, hey, no, this bill is very discriminatory. It's not testing everybody. It's just testing poor people or people in public housing. You don't know the reason why they're in public housing. You only want to test people in public housing. You want to test homeless people. You want to just all this. No. And it's going to target black people more than any other group. How we become the face of coronavirus? It didn't even start in Africa. What are you talking about? I don't know a bunch of black people just passing away with this. Only black people that I know of that we've heard this has been black folks that have been working on the essential jobs and being exposed to more of these folks. You want to call it what it is. Black folks in Walmart I've covered that died, being exposed to these folks. Because some people are more sickly than others. Now, I've said it before with Dr. Chi, and I'll say it again. The reason why we get more things in America is because we're more exposed to them. But if we got to the continent of Africa and they have much exposure, we wouldn't be as sick. Hence to why they don't have much of a problem over there either. Then I'm definitely heard about that COVID organics, that particular thing they came out with in Madagascar. The World Health Organization is against them. Oh, no, that's unfounded. Did you go and get any of it? Did you try to see if it works? Did you test it? You don't even want to test it. This is why Julius Malema said we need to get back to practicing our own African medicine. It's because ever since they introduced their stuff here, he said we've been having problems. And what was it, Comoros and Mauritius? I think those two countries don't have a single trace of COVID-19. In the country, as I said to Dr. Chi, if you saw it, the country that has the most deaths of coronavirus is South Africa. I wonder why. But other countries that don't have that amount of population they don't have the deaths like that. Start looking at yourself. The coronavirus deaths on the African continent, start looking it up. Listen, black folks forever always had our own way of doing things. Grandma always had home remedies. Grandpa, they knew what to do for this and what to do for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, I remember we grew up in Port Arthur, and mosquitoes are bad. And they wouldn't say, oh, well, we need Benadryl or antihistamine from, because they'll tell you, well, you're itching because it's a histamine, so you need an antihistamine to get rid of that, right? We would say, man, my grandma said, look, go get that bottle of alcohol over there in a rag and just, put some alcohol on that. That alcohol will solve a whole lot of problems. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not saying that black people ain't getting it. I never said that. I'm just saying that it's not as what they try to say it is. They have a whole lot of remedies that black people have practiced for years. What? Hold on, what's the phrase? I ain't lying, brother Phil. They group page in a rage and they into. Okay, I don't know, but the situation we talking about the Bill Gates situation. I don't know why y'all listening to a man who doesn't have any medical degree. I'll listen to him about Microsoft. I'll listen to him about anything tech. I'll listen to him all day long. But certain people I'm just not gonna listen to, and I don't understand like why he is involved in people's business, and that's also concerning for me. And also, I don't want to see him in Africa. I don't, and I will speak up every time. And listen, nothing wrong with home remedies. Nothing wrong with home remedies. Nothing wrong with that. They trade. They tell y'all go take. So let me not go there too far, because I know these people over here they're yank your video down. You start going too far with that. I'm just saying is that we know how to treat our people. And we've been doing it for a long time. There's times that you do need to go to the doctor. Yes, there are times. But you need to go to a doctor that is not his or her first thing to do is go give you some sort of something foreign. You get what I'm saying? You need a doctor to listen to you and say, well, maybe let's try pulling back on eating certain foods. Or let's try doing this. Let's try doing that. First, that's like last thing we're gonna do is prescribe something for you. Okay, that's the good doctors that you need to have. Doctors that know, like I said, that's why I say we need black doctors out here. We need more and more black doctors because sometimes they know how to talk to us in a way that they said sometimes we're under medicated and sometimes over medicated at times. So we need more black doctors. Okay. But like I said, the reason why a lot of us don't trust that industry is because of the things they have done and the documented history of things they've done to us in that industry. Okay, so what I'm saying is this: is about HR 6666? Like I said, that number is in itself. You know about it. Contact Bobby Rush. Sound the alarm to all your friends and family. Tell those Democrats. See, for me, the Democrats have become more and more dangerous by the day. Okay, by the day. To the black community. They have become more and more dangerous. And I don't personally, you say what you want. I'm glad they got Republican leadership in Texas. Because you know what? They ain't gonna put up with it. They ain't not this state. Oh no. Oh no. I can tell you, it's way too many tools in this state for that. Oh boy, I'm telling you, a lot of people around here is practicing their Second Amendment rights. I'm talking about even black folks too. They talk about Texas. All they think about is guns, guns. Well, you know what? Texas don't have a whole lot of problems either that other states have. Say what y'all want to say about Texas. Do Texas got problems? Sure, they got problems. Every state got problems. Every state. And certain places in Texas, I would tell you don't ever go as a black person. There's some of them little hick towns and little East Texas, areas. I'm like, nah, stay away from that. But you black and you more so in the city area like Houston or the surrounding Missouri City, the surrounding areas, or you in Dallas, or certain areas where we're at, man, you fine, bro. You in DeSoto, Texas, which is a very successful city. Shout out to everybody that's donating. Thank you. You in DeSoto, you in all kind of different cities that's good for black folk, man, you be fine, man. Like I said, look, I'm fine. Look, I tell people this. I'll stay myself in Texas and then I'll be in the continent. I said, because I'm saying I've been to other states and I don't like the like, for instance, in New York, the gun laws are draconian. That's so stupid, the way they run that state. And it shows what happens in New York. California, another state, because of the Black Panthers, they put all these gun laws out there. Nah, you need to be in states where the gun laws are lax. And black people have a God-given right to protect themselves. A God-given right. And they have no problem, even the black people, selling you a firearm. They have no problem. Trust me. I went to the one spot and I can't wait till he open back up. God, they're saying they're gonna open up the gyms on the 18th. I can't wait. From the brother I go to, well, his gym, he have a dude right across the way that has his own gun shop, whatever. White dude, right? And he ready to sell me one that day. Oh man, I got this and I could customize it. Or he was all excited about trying to get that. Or they sell you one all day long. I'll tell you that much. Especially here in Texas, they'll sell you one. Nah, I don't vote. You talking about if people move to Texas to turn blue? Nah, I wouldn't think it would turn blue. Because I sure wouldn't help them turn it blue. For what? What I'm learning now, it don't need to be blue at all. We don't have, like, look at right now with Tesla, right? Tesla talking about moving to Texas because they're sick of all the lockdowns. And also, I don't understand why anybody in California anyway with the state tax. We don't have a state tax in Texas. Like I'm gonna pay a federal tax and a state tax? Forget that. Well, Elon Musk, he's actually from South Africa, believe it or not. Okay, guys. So I heard about it. And I don't want to get too far off the topic, but we would cover what we wanted to cover. I don't like to make my lives too long because, I know it's not going to be a higher probability of somebody go back and watch it. So I want to make sure to have a probability of people watching it. So, this is the thing. We need to pay attention to what they're doing. We need to pay attention to every bill out there. We need to do that, okay? Please pay attention. Please read, research, make your voice heard, okay? Make your voice heard. Because if we don't, these people going to slip in these bills and you're like, hey, well, these people going from door to door all of a sudden. Well, because you wasn't doing your research. That's just all it is to it, okay? So, I hope you guys have a great day. Stay blessed as much as possible. We'll put those links in there after this is over with. And that way you guys can go read it yourself. But take care of yourself. Thanks for all the people that joined us and became members and donated. And yes, about the murder hornets, I already covered that on our African Diaspora News Insider channel. So make sure to go check that out about the murder hornets. Like I said, shoot, these people, all their thing is You never know. A plague of murder hornets may hit next. I guarantee you, a plague of murder hornets will make your behind stay in the house. But anyway, guys, you have a good day.